Welcome to Exhale by me, Sonya Stoeckert, a space where faith meets freedom and every woman is reminded of her God-given strength. Here we hold space for real stories, deep conversations, and the kind of encouragement that lifts your spirits and fuels your purpose. Today, we dive into a conversation that will inspire, challenge, and empower you to walk boldly in who God created you to be. So take a breath in through the nose and exhale. Let's begin. Welcome to Exhale. Today we're going to have a little fun as I introduce the man behind all of the good works, the camera, the lighting, these awesome microphones. One of my former yoga students, Mike Imbasciani.
Thank you. Yes,
You're welcome.
and I am the interviewer today. And while, yes, I am typically the producer of this show, I will be, I guess, somewhat co-host today for you, since I'll be asking you the questions, because you've already had a few guests on the podcast. You've been doing the meditations, which is fun, but I think it would be nice to be able to find out more about you for your audience. You are the talent, after all.
Listen, you said that one time and
I
it's
know.
sticking forever
I
now.
know. You know, the talent, goes right to their head all the time. That's
don't
why
know
I'm
if I
behind the camera on this one.
I don't know if I can fit
Yes.
through that door on the way out.
I know, all the poofy hair hides it. But okay, so this is the Exhale podcast. Why did you want to start a podcast? We'll start it simply with that.
So the reason why I wanted to start a podcast, I don't think there's one reason. I think there's many. I love to talk. Mm-hmm. I love to connect with other people. However, I really wanted to create like an umbrella over what I do for a living, because I'm not just one niche.
Yeah.
I'm many of niches created into one.
There's the title, Many of Niches.
Many of niches. And just throw my personality on top of everything. And I've been wanting to do this for years. And finally I was like, time to do it. You're like, you need some help. And I said, absolutely. And here we are. Good.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, I mean, I'm a musician, you know that, for those of you out there who don't know, I am a musician. That's my real job. This is the side hustle.
Blues player.
Yes, blues, classic rock, all that. We just played here at Fusion.
Yay.
As of recording this last night. So, I understand the idea of having that umbrella, because you may have one main niche that you've done for a long time, but you want to try different things, and a podcast is a good way to, because you've been doing these things in your professional life for so long, you have so many contacts and so many good friends and business people that you want to get the word out about as well. So it's a fun way to talk to people and kind of pick their brains and see what you have in common and just talk about things.
Definitely.
So let's back up then.
Okay.
Because you are the fit yogi mama.
I am
Right?
the fit yogi mama. And then I niched that down to fit yogi mom.
Okay.
Only reason is because the word mama is spelled like so many different ways. It was hard to connect on social media. So
True.
Fit yogi mom.
Fit yogi mom.
That's me.
Then that pretty much sums it up. So which did you start with first, the fitness or the yoga?
Fitness.
Okay.
I was a gymnast when I was a little girl. Well, back that up. I was a ballerina first.
Okay.
But I got kicked out of ballerina land.
No
because
way.
I have too much personality. I was that one hanging upside down on the barrier bars instead of listening to what the instructor was telling me to do. Then I got into gymnastics, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you compete?
I never competed because I'm just not competitive in that type of sport.
Okay.
And they offered a even better, kind of like on the lines of like cheerleader, but it was a just a group of girls, and we would go around to like old folks' home, high schools. We'd have our flashy outfits.
Performing arts.
Yeah, performing arts.
That's cool.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
You gave some 90-year-olds a couple heart palpitations.
Of course. As we're flipping around on these like little like transportable mats, you know,
the
dangerous.
Did you have the tiny trampolines?
No, we should have brought those.
Right?
Those would have been way more entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Well, gymnastics was fun. I was good at gymnastics, but I was always like built like very, very muscular. Okay. And I always had a lot of girls that were like super bendy, like their elbows, they were hypermobile.
Right.
And it was double
jointed.
Yeah. And it was a little bit of a challenge.
I've never had that problem.
It's a little bit of a challenge watching how flexible they were. However, I was a powerhouse and didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. Kids would make fun of me at like pool parties.
So you were the bottom of the pyramid.
I was. I had 6-pack abs, you know, at like 8 years old. Yeah. And, but I always got in trouble at gymnastics. I was always in the chalk bowl, like making chalk clouds. Now I'm a power lifter and I make chalk clouds and not one person yells at me.
Right. So it's about finding, I mean, while the gymnastics is still a strength-based type of sport, you just had to pivot slightly because, like you just said, being 8 years old with 6-pack abs.
Yes.
I mean, I again also did not have that problem, but you meet other kids and kids are mean regardless. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're overweight, they're mean to you. If you're, you know, in super shape, they're mean to you. It doesn't matter. Yep. And that's what people need to understand. Like kids are mean because they just don't understand certain things. Yeah. And that's where parenting comes in.
Yeah, true.
And you have to be able to tell a kid what is right and wrong anyway, and just you can't shame somebody for being super fit. And if they're really young and overweight, more than likely it's not totally their fault either. Right. That's also falls on parenting. Yeah. So when did you make that transition from being in gymnastics to going more the fitness? Because before it's still before personal training, but the weightlifting aspect.
Honestly, when I turned about 16, my social life took over. Okay. So I became a lost butterfly. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Right. I knew that exercise was always a part of my mental health. If I went to the gym or if I, you know, played around with friends outside, I was always the fastest in a race and, you know, fun stuff like that. And then I was lost for years. I would randomly go to a gym, sign up to a gym. I'd get there and do a couple planks, and then I'd leave because I was just kind of looking and searching. And then in my late 20s, I found in Northport, Florida, the YMCA. It's no longer there, unfortunately. It was just this little tiny YMCA. Yeah. And there was a boot camp instructor. His name was David. And I did boot camp with him and a bunch of my friends that I actually have of lifelong friends now. These are friendships I made. Good. Yeah. Dave actually took me under his wing when I expressed, you know, information about personal training. He would make me write the workouts right then and there intuitively. And so not only was I back into the exercising, but I was also...
You had structure around it.
Yeah. And then I just dove in head first, took my personal training certification. Unfortunately, I didn't have any type of support with that. So I was really on my own. And funny story, I worked at one of those UFit gyms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they fired me. It wasn't my fault.
You were a personal trainer there?
I was.
Okay, yeah.
I was a personal trainer. They had way too many rules. The general manager, for some reason, just did not like me.
How could anyone not like you?
Thank you. You know? And rumors went around town that whole weekend that I was getting fired. So
before you heard it, right?
So I show up on Monday like, do I have a job? Yeah. And the guy wouldn't even talk to me.
Wow.
And the front desk manager is the one who fired me. And directly
Because
after...
you're trying to scan in your card, right? It's not working.
Yeah, I was trying to get my piece of
You've
pizza.
been promoted to customer.
Exactly. And then directly following that, all my personal training clients ganged up and went into UFIT. And one of the front desk ladies put her arm against the wall because they were trying to get into the manager to be like, why'd you fire her? What's going on?
Right.
So the lady has her arm up. My client karate chops her arm, and they all enter. Like, this is exciting. Like,
Right, yeah.
I'm like, I wish I could have been there.
I am the main character in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I am the talent.
I am the talent. Yeah.
So after getting fired from there, it literally took me about 24 hours, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing my own thing. And at that time, I was a single mom. I had a minivan, lots of room. I bought equipment from Goodwill. I would go every 2 weeks and buy all the equipment from Goodwill, filled my minivan, and I would just do like mobile gyms, and started at different playgrounds, because a lot of my friends that wanted to train were moms. So the kids could go play, and we would be right there and working out, and the rest is history. Here I am now, Fit Yogi Mom.
Yeah. So how did you start to incorporate then the yoga aspect of it?
So the company that I started was Fit Camp Fitness.
Right.
I'm a boot camp instructor at heart. So I wanted to make it a little softer for women. So I always had that fit camp. And I worked for a physical therapist for 4 years. And taking that high, fast-paced personal trainer, boot camp instructor, and then putting yourself in a rehab situation was like, whoa, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
And I actually had a great mentor at the physical therapy place, and he taught me a lot about slowing it down, all the smaller muscle groups, because I went in there as a tech. I had to take out the garbage, I had to clean off tables, I had to do the laundry, humble.
Right.
All during this time, I'm getting all the education that I would probably in the first year of school, or maybe a little more.
You're getting it on the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then I brought that into my training, and I always felt like there's just something missing. And one day I was scrolling on Instagram like we always do, and I saw this ad for teacher training. Now, you know that I'm a spiritual person.
Right.
So I called the owner of the studio, and I had a million questions pertaining to my spirituality. I wanted to remain faithful. I didn't want to step out of line. And I was blessed enough that she actually had a spiritual background in church and everything. And she met me with like the best answers that I needed in that moment. And
that's what you want, yeah.
Right, exactly. And I did that 200-hour teacher training, and it just like expanded my mind, the anatomy that I understood, and different poses. And I actually had part of my teacher training was guided meditations, any type of meditations, because there's so many different meditations.
Yeah.
So I took that, and then I took it again. I paid for the course over again. And then she asked me to help her film the class. So I actually inevitably took that 4 times because I filmed it twice.
Yeah.
So it's pretty ingrained in me.
Right.
And one thing about me when I was a kid, so say we're at school, you just got done reading your portion of the reading. It was mine. I'm pouring sweat. I'm nervous. My anxiety is high. And that was one thing, the hardest thing for me is to read. And I would probably say thanks to taking away the phonics when I was in 2nd grade. But that's a whole nother podcast. Anyways.
The early years.
Yes. So
the talent, the early years.
The talent, the early years. Yeah, the Tasmanian devil, Sonya, for sure. But I took the hardest one out of all the different meditations, and that was guided meditations, because A, I had to read, and B, I had to be in front of people. And it's so funny that that is one of my favorite niches about me, is my guided meditation, something that I was so terrified of became one of my favorite blessings.
Yeah.
So,
which is also something you offer on this channel,
yes.
which is nice. You know,
Yes.
is something people, and there's so many avenues to the guided meditation. When I was doing the yoga classes here, I only fell asleep once. Okay.
Once.
Once.
When you fall asleep, that is a compliment.
Okay,
Stop
that's a
making
good
it sound
thing.
like it's bad,
Okay,
you know?
fine. So, hey, I what is it called? Shavasana or something?
Shavasana.
Shavasana. So I hit peak Shavasana.
It's Sanskrit for corpse pose, so you
Well,
were
I
on
was
point.
there.
Exactly.
I was there. But that is one avenue for the guided meditations. What you're doing on this channel is nice because you're saying you're letting people be active with it being a walking meditation. Yeah. So you're really combining the fitness aspect of it to the spiritual aspect of it. And by combining the two, it's giving people more of a balance between the two worlds.
Yeah. And you're able to find stillness in every day.
Yeah.
You could be walking.
Well, you should want to find, with how crazy our lives are all the time, especially as of late for a lot of people, you want to be able to say, okay, 3 o'clock is when I force myself to sit down.
Yeah.
And, you know, I took Kenpo karate jiu-jitsu for 15 years, and every now and then he would talk about, our Sifu would talk about meditation. He said, meditation, you can't think about nothing. If you think about nothing, you're still thinking about something.
Exactly.
So he said the point of meditation is to focus on one thing, to clear your mind of everything else and focus on one individual thing that helps you relax and that helps you slip into that meditative state to unwind and calm yourself down.
And that's exactly what yoga is for. Right. So you have your asana, which is the movement. So I say it's like getting your sillies out. So you're moving that energy around, you're moving anything through your body. And then we go into Shavasana. And Shavasana is preparation for meditation. So when you fell asleep, you did that wrong. Because it's preparation for meditation. Right. So it's now calming the mind after we got all our sillies out and finding that stillness. And that's when you go into your deepest meditation.
When you focus on the one thing.
And the Bible talks about it all the time, how important meditation is and meditating on God's word. Because that is our... That's handbook. Our weapon, our handbook, our guide, all the things.
The sword, the shield, and all of it.
Amen. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So then, as that's a good segue. Talk about how you found your faith and how you've incorporated that into your life and into your professional endeavors.
So I found my faith when I was little. If you got a chance to catch the last podcast with Brittany Strand, we talked a lot about that spiritual and religious background. And when I was in 8th grade, I accepted Jesus as my savior, but that wasn't my end all be all. Like I wasn't this spiritual being. Like life actually got harder after that. And when I started my yoga teacher training, I needed to be strong in my faith because I could have swung in the different direction of the different gods and all their healing properties and all those things. But it was really cool for me because I was strong in my faith when I started that. I was able to see the parallels between stories, and it actually gave me a deeper sense of spirituality and connection to God.
And it backs it up more. Yeah.
Definitely. And it's not a religion. Yoga's not a religion, but
no, it's a science.
Different cultures have adapted it into the religion.
Right.
Yoga is an umbrella over top of. It's your ethical codes, it's movement, it's preparation, asana. There's different breathing mechanisms, techniques.
I'm not editing it out.
Yeah, okay, it's all right. Mechanisms. I don't even think I said
mechanisms.
The word. Yeah, words.
There you go.
I'm not really good at pronunciating. That'll be that other podcast about when they took phonics out of school. That's okay. I bring a lot to the table.
Yes.
So spelling, not one of them. I
That's
have many
okay.
other talents. But yeah, just sitting with the knowledge and the philosophy, just like learning history. That's what I was
Yeah.
learning in those moments. And I don't teach Christian yoga because I feel like they're separate. But if that is what, if you came to my class and you wanted to do some meditating on God's word when you got home, that's what you would do. Or your movement, you would do your shavasana, and you'd be in that right headspace to be able
Christian
to
yoga.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, no, well, I don't do Christian yoga.
Well, right, but what
But yeah.
is Christian yoga then?
Christian yoga would be like using the different limbs, because there's 8 limbs of yoga. So using the different limbs to explain God, which would be great.
Interesting.
But I don't like to mix the two because I'm working with a lot of lost people and I
Right.
don't want to confuse them. So when I'm doing my yoga and I'm teaching that and I'm talking about mind, body, and soul, we're talking about where we are at in that present moment and what we're doing now. And pretty much my actions and my Instagram speak for itself
Yeah.
that, I'm spiritual and
Yeah.
Jesus lover. So yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So obviously the last part is the mom part. So how's your family affected your life going forward, and then how you try to incorporate that into your fitness and yoga?
Well, I have always been very active with my daughters. So I was a single mom.
Right, yeah, you mentioned you have
Yeah.
the playground, and that
Yeah.
brings in other moms who have their kids and trying to learn that sort of thing, which was good because you see that a lot of moms, I feel there's that stigma of, well, yeah, if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom or whatever, if you're a single mom, you're trapped in this little tiny bubble that you can only do
Right.
certain things, and it's not true.
No.
So that's good that you had that avenue to show these women that you're not alone, period.
Right.
And you have ways that you can stay healthy, get into fitness, get into yoga, and have your kids with you.
Right, exactly. Like that excuse, I don't have a gym membership,
Right.
really doesn't make sense to me
No.
because the world is our gym.
Right.
You can do lunges down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
My daughters and we used to do that unknowingly for mental health. Like we would go for walks. I lived off of a road that was super windy and just like a great walking, running area. And we would just walk out there and do
Yeah.
bear crawls, and I would challenge them and then they would challenge me. So that was a lot of fun. And then I had Shark Boy.
Yeah.
And Shark Boy is a very active baby, toddler, now active 7-year-old. So we have to be going or he gets in trouble. Gotta keep him active,
What is it? Idle hands.
Yes.
Right.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Keep him busy. If he's quiet, you better go check on him, So we're just an active family, and I'm very blessed that my husband, that's where we met, in the gym.
Right.
We met working out together, and from there we continued that active lifestyle. Like, he should really be a professional surfer, how good he is.
It's awesome.
He will drop everything at the drop of the hat. He gets, a notification on his phones. Winds change. Now we have waves.
You got good surf, man.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
But I love that about
That's
him.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because
that's
it's a passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a passion, and it doesn't change for him.
Right.
It's not him faking or, he actually
Gets genuinely excited.
Yes. And that's his mental health, you
Right.
know? He loves to surf, and like I said, he's really good at it.
That's awesome. Well, and for you, that's the passion for the fitness and the passion, I think, of teaching people the understanding of yoga and the spirituality behind it.
Right.
And so how do you feel since you've been in that YouFit situation of the big box gyms?
Right.
I think you're seeing a resurgence of almost that Arnold style of gym and you don't have to be a musclehead. There are muscleheads
Right.
out there, fine. They have a place to go too. But just being a person and getting involved in the community
Yeah.
that is the gym community, because I feel like when the big box gyms first started and what they kind of turned into, the Purple Palace or the U-Fits or whatever,
This is good stuff
it's a
right
lot
here.
of, it is. It's a lot of the, we lift big stuff
Right.
and, we'll look at you. And then the Purple Palace has to respond by, don't drop the weights,
Yeah.
Otherwise little siren's going to go off. It's not very nice.
And you won't get your pizza and Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, exactly. But now you're seeing the resurgence of these smaller gyms, the community gym, go lift and go scream, whatever. Have the camaraderie of people helping each other. And it's not a competition. They do the competitions.
Of course.
There are those personal records because at the end of the day, you still have record keeping and it is a competition.
Yeah.
You do. But that's good. It's healthy. Competition is good.
It's very healthy.
So what have you seen in your journey through the fitness part of it? What have you seen as far as the gyms and all of that camaraderie?
Not a fan of big box gyms. I don't know if it's just because I'm a personal trainer and I'm just designed to watch everyone's form.
Right.
And it takes every piece of me not to be like, excuse me. And as a trainer, I should do that.
Right.
But they're doing their thing. Like, I don't want to interrupt them. And
Yeah.
especially at like a big box gym, in which my kids have a membership too, because it is very inexpensive and they go about.
Can be until you try to cancel.
True. But they only go about half of the time that they tell me. So
Right.
I just want to make sure that they have a place if they want to go and they want to expend that energy. They're welcome. They're always welcome to go with me to my gyms that I go to. But working with the smaller gyms like Showcase Strength and Fitness in Northport, Florida, I love walking in that place, especially just on a Saturday. I haven't been there in a long time on a Saturday, but that's the day like the guys and the girls get together and they all lift super heavy, and just the people there cheering each other on.
Yeah.
Like people you wouldn't even think would be friends outside of the gym.
Right.
You
Which
know?
in most cases they wouldn't be.
Right.
Because their paths would never even cross.
Right. Now they have this community that they show up for, and when we do the powerlifting meets, those are just so fun. Like you cannot go to a powerlifting meet and not want to do a powerlifting meet.
Right. It's like, I can lift that. And
Yeah,
like,
just
nope.
you can feel like
Yeah.
the adrenaline, the excitement. You can feel
The
the
testosterone.
testosterone, the connection. And it's a beautiful thing to watch and be a part of. I do work with a couple other like smaller gyms too that are more geared toward personal training or geared toward women who have not had the chance to get into a gym or feel very intimidated. I like to start them out at the smaller gyms.
Right.
It's just safer for them because it's just a smaller
Not somebody
place.
go, come on, add 5 more pounds. Come on.
Right. We all,
Yeah.
that's my job. So,
Right, yeah.
but then bringing them into the bigger gyms
Mm-hmm.
and letting them know, hey, you belong in that weight room just as
Yeah.
much as any one of these people in here do. Don't let somebody in the corner deadlifting 800 pounds intimidate you. Like,
It's like he's got a big neck, but
you
don't worry
can,
about
but
it.
you can deadlift right
Yeah.
next to Mr.
Right.
Big Neck, and your weight's just as cool as
Exactly.
his. So
Yeah. Yep.
definitely.
So explain then the difference then because you talk about there's powerlifting, there's personal training, just overall fitness, and then I'm sure there's more of the cardio aspect. So kind of explain the difference and what people should know about each.
Well, powerlifting is geared towards your compound lifts. So your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. They are challenging lifts and they grow the more that you put into them. So if you're just going to show up once a month and ego lift, like you're going to A, get injured,
Yeah.
and B, not get the results that you're looking for. If you're consistent and you stay on it, you start to see your progress go up. And again, you can enter into those powerlifting meets and get that community behind you. It's
Right.
wonderful. The one thing about powerlifting that a lot of people try to skip on is the accessories. Accessories are your actual work that you do, like on the machines with the dumbbells. You don't give
So
that
you're doing
100.
exercises around what is the main exercise of the power lift itself.
Yes.
Okay.
To make yourself stronger.
Right.
Create more core balance, just create overall strength. And with powerlifting, you have to eat. That's a big thing. You are lifting all this weight, you're expending all that energy. You have to refuel yourself. You have to take care of your body, and you have to eat
And
your
that's when
protein.
it's okay to, eat your protein, but jack up on, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
People I talk to, in certain aspects talk about, well, if you're a runner, you got to, jump up on your carbs because you're running and burning off those carbs immediately.
Right.
Where you don't want to just eat the protein, because then if you're running, you're burning off the protein and then losing your muscle mass.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's all about finding a balance.
Yeah, and I'm not a nutritionist. I know some really good nutritionists, so if you need one,
I'm sure
let
they'll
me
be
know.
on the podcast soon enough.
I definitely need to get those ladies on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you have, just working out for fun. Like, you don't have to be a power lifter. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You can go there and do your own thing. I'm here to help people to get to their goal that they want. I'm never going to push somebody into a goal. I'm going to go off what you tell me, and then we're going to work up from there.
Right. Because it's not, a cookie cutter type of thing.
Yeah.
It is
not.
personal, extremely personal.
A lot of women go in and just do cardio because they feel that's what they're most comfortable. Like the big box gyms, Planet Fitness, or
row after row after row of treadmills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where are the people? They're on the cardio equipment. There's like very limited people actually in the free weight section.
Yeah.
And to me, for my body, my personal opinion is the more I lift, the more I lose. So I'm gaining muscle, but the more muscle you have, the more that you burn while you're sitting and just resting. So right now, I'm burning calories.
Right. See, there you go, folks.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here's a controversial question: free weights or machines? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick,
Yeah.
definitely free weights, because core control. You're
You can
able
do so
to.
much more.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Machines aren't bad,
Right.
but don't let them be your only source of
Right.
exercise.
Because then you can cheat
Yeah,
when you're lifting too.
yeah, you're right. I love lifting free weights. You have to engage your core. You have to engage your body. You can even, like, if I'm doing like overhead shoulder press and I'm standing, like my legs are kind of helping me a little
Right.
bit. Now I'll sit my butt down in the chair and I'll do those.
And then you really
It's
feel
so
it's
much
a lot
harder.
different.
Yeah. There's so many things you can do with free weights. Definitely.
Very true. What is something you want to get across to people who view this podcast with your spiritual aspect?
With my spiritual aspect,
Yes. With your spirituality.
let me clear my throat.
Yes.
Don't give up. Just keep pushing and listening, finding that stillness, and God will show up for you. You just have to be still. And I think just getting the word out and making religion and spirituality not something that is like, oh no, I'm good. I'm gonna wait.
Right.
When I'm 80,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up my Bible and then I'll
start
really
checking
I'll
out.
start giving my life to God then. Like no, like right now, do it right now, because how many more lives could you help save just by getting into your own spirituality and showing up with that spirituality and not waiting till you're 80. Do it now.
Right.
Because if God's going to bless you when you actually devote yourself to him, why not be blessed in this moment where you're able to enjoy it, not where you're just stuck in the
Right.
recliner watching
Yeah.
the TV. God's so good.
What are
Yeah.
some of those moments in your life that you have felt blessed?
Gosh, more than I can count.
Yeah.
Definitely my kids.
Yes.
Definitely the reconciliation of my husband and I. We went through a little bit of a separation before we got married, and God definitely showed up and is still showing up in our marriage. Just being blessed to have a calling too, to have an ability to speak over people and help them heal from anything that they've walked through, and just being alive, waking up every morning. I wake up every morning and I thank God. Thank you for my breath, and thank you for waking me up this morning. So, I mean, I could go on and on forever about that.
Hey, it's okay.
Stuff.
It's your podcast.
Yeah, it is.
That's the point.
I'm the talent. Told you, never letting that one down.
But so then what's next as far as your yoga journey? What is something you want to accomplish with that?
Really pushing out the guided meditations. I love the physical asana or the movement of yoga. One day, we'll wait till I'm 80, maybe, to open my own studio. I'd love to open my own studio. I just watch one of my best friends who owns a yoga studio in Northport, Florida, and it's a lot.
It's hard
work. Yeah.
And then you got to be there all the time.
And you got to be there. And like if I ask you to sub for me, or if I ask you, to teach a class for me, and then you have something going on, whose responsibility? I'm going to have to leave my family. Right. So I think really all my next step plans for yoga is on hold until all my kids are out of the house.
Right. Well, you just have to put them to work.
Yeah. They wouldn't be good yoga teachers.
No?
They would try.
Yeah, they would try. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark Boy could do some really active yoga or VR yoga.
There you go. See, the next generation of yoga.
So he doesn't even have to leave the house. He just do yoga with Shark Boy on the VR.
Well, they've talked about that with some fitness stuff, walking. Like they'll put you on a treadmill with the VR, so it looks like you're walking somewhere like Mount Everest.
I would wreck. Totally, I would wreck. I'd be like,
I think you'd be kind of tethered in there.
Yeah, that would be it.
And you step off the mountain.
Yes. I know that they have a fitness app on there. When the VRs first came out, I was training a guy at the YMCA, and he had one of the VRs, and he was telling me about all the exercises he was doing on that. And I was like, how cool would it to be a trainer on the other end helping with that? And I tried to look into it, but I haven't really found any information.
What do you think of the craze of now, like the Pelotons? Or there was one workout system that it was a bench that was hooked to your wall, that the bench would come down and then it would be a screen on the wall where it's basically like a leaderboard, or you're taking lessons either on the Peloton or doing workout sessions with somebody on the screen there, and it's live.
Right.
Yeah. What
I love
that. Yeah.
I love that, because if you can motivate somebody to work out in their own home, heck yes. That is, for me personally, my husband right now is building a garage gym, and I am fingers crossed that I will use that garage gym, because it's just something about working out at home.
Well, and it keeps you from, I can't go today. I got to go to the gym. It's
excuse.
Well, your gym's at home.
Yeah.
You're always there.
I think those are really cool. Like the Peloton. I'm not a cardio girl. I get my cardio from running in my mouth.
Well, we're doing all right so far.
I know. But there is that one, it's kind of like, it doesn't have the bench, but it's a mirror.
Right.
And I have a couple of friends that use that, and it's so cool. Again, I would love to be the trainer on the other side of that. Yeah. How cool would that be? It's kind of like online training, but you record these videos ahead of time, and then the people are able to choose, and I think that's really a good thing. You're getting people moving. You're getting them in shape at home.
Now, if it was a little cheaper.
Yeah. Well, hey, if I ever get a job there, and
there you go.
See if I get a discount on one of those mirrors.
Oh yeah.
Because that would be pretty cool.
That would be nice.
Yes.
And then with your fitness journey and your personal training, where do you want to see that go in the future?
I love personal training. I am a mom first.
Right.
So my personal training one-on-one in person has to lie between 9 a.m. in the morning and 2 p.m. in the afternoon, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, because family's the most important.
Yes, family is most important. And I really would like to push my online training because it's like I'm there with you. You use the app, and I use the app on my end, program your workouts. I have all your nutritional goals and ideas for, like, say you're gluten-free this week. So I can program in gluten-free meals for you
and
for
it's
this
there
week.
on as a checklist too.
Yeah, it's a checklist.
Yeah.
It's accountability. I do the check-in calls once a week. So I call and I check in with you, see how you're doing, if there's anything you need. Do you like the workouts? Are they hard? Are they easy?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And it's really cool, but you have to have someone who has accountability for themselves as well to get out the door, because you can be like,
and
yeah,
that's where
I did
you
my
can
workout.
see that's more for an intermediate,
Yes.
someone who's already got that drive and made it through the beginning of, I need a personal trainer to literally be standing there telling me, go lift the weight.
And that's the same thing like with the mirror and the Peloton. Like those are going to be fun when you first get them. And then you're going to be like, oh, what mirror? Oh, let me put my jacket on this Peloton real quick.
Yeah.
So
They've been doing that for how many decades with treadmills?
I know.
Yeah.
If you do that, I still love you.
It's okay.
Just call me.
Just go for a nice walk. Listen to a guided meditation and listen to a nice walk.
Definitely.
Yeah, go for a nice walk.
Yes.
While you're listening. Don't fall asleep, though.
No.
That'd be bad.
No.
That'd be almost narcolepsy if you're walking and then falling asleep like that.
Be.
So what is something then you want folks to know personally? What is something you like to do in your off time? And it's not yoga, not fitness.
I like to surf.
Do you? You got into surfing, huh?
Yeah. My funny story. We'll drag this one out a little bit. So when I was a little girl, I had a very bright imagination. And I used to see myself growing up, having kids, surfing. Now, I lived in the cold tundra of Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay, so I've only saw surfing on TV or when we'd go on vacation.
That's why it was a nice dream, right?
Exactly. But like I always knew that I would have kids and they would surf. And for years and years and years, I was like, this is just a fantasy. It's not a dream. Like I really thought I was in touch with like what was going to happen. And then I met George, and he was a surfer. And I was like, okay, you're probably like the other people I met. They have a surfboard in their room. Ooh, look at me, I'm a surfer. No, this dude legit surfs.
Which is hard to find.
Yes, especially on this coast.
Well, that's true, but I mean, even I would think in Florida in general, if you're a surfer, you're going to be California, Hawaii, like somewhere truly meant for it. But I guess it happens around here.
And I was going to move to California because I was like, oh, my dreams are, not coming true. Maybe I need to move to California. Funny story is my husband was also thinking about moving to California, and I'm just wondering if like our timelines line up.
Right.
Because he decided last minute I'm not moving to California, and I had kids, and I was like, well, I can't move to California right now.
Right.
And just meeting George and watching him surf, I was like, this is the one that I was kind of dreaming about when I was a kid. And he taught every single one of my kids how to surf.
That's awesome.
Shark Boy's good. It's challenge getting him to the beach sometimes, but when he gets there, he loves it.
Yeah.
He's quick to just flop himself right into the whitewash. And he learns how to surf by learning how to maneuver his body in that whitewash too. Yeah. And then Dad will take him out, and I love seeing that. And then my other daughter.
Again, the passion he has for that.
Yeah.
Means he's always enthusiastic to talk about it and teach it to somebody new.
Well, that's the thing that about him is he is so passionate about it. When I see him taking a break from some waves that we just got out of the blue that he can surf and that he's spending the time to teach his son or my daughters how to surf, like that's even more special to me because I know that's his passion and that's his thing. And now he's taking time to teach the kids and to teach me, you know?
Which makes it the family endeavor,
Yeah.
which is nice, which is that the family unit coming together to do those things and be together to do them.
Yes. I also love when he's like, hey, going to the East Coast this weekend, and we pack up and we go stay at a hotel over there and spend all day at the beach surfing.
Spontaneous.
I love spontaneous. Fun fact, I am terrified of sharks. Terrified. So surfing's a little difficult for me. I like to keep my little feet up on the board. I enjoy my longboard the most because I can stand up on it. If you can't stand up on a shortboard, it's okay. Try a longboard. But getting over that fear and in those moments of being out there in the water alone and knowing there could be something underneath me. So I'm getting like
it's the
sweaty.
Unknown.
Yes. I do connect very closely spiritually with God in those moments. Yeah. And not so much of God save me. No sharks. Yeah. I really sometimes just say, like, if it's your purpose for me to get bit by a shark right now, I trust you.
Like, you want me to go to the
However,
ER right now?
if I could just surf these few waves and be safe, I'll be very grateful. But I'm getting over that. My husband has like no fear of sharks. He comes in and, you know, he's like wiping his hair off and he's like, yeah, I saw like 10 sharks down there. I was like, cool, I'm not going out. Sometimes I feel like he says that so he doesn't have to push me in on waves.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
There you go.
But
Well,
I love
see,
surfing.
there you go. The personal touch, surfing.
Yeah.
Very nice. And hence the surfboard.
Yeah. It's me.
There you go.
And then it's the surfboard.
Yeah.
Me. Surfboard.
Perfect. So remind people where they can find you online. I know they're watching. If they're watching the podcast, they already have an idea.
Yeah.
But give it all up again.
I am on Instagram under fit_yogi. That's with an I _mom. And I'm also on Facebook under Fit Yogi Mama. That's where we get confused. I can't change under.
And spell it.
Fit Yogi with an I and then MOMMA. Yeah. Oh, and I just started up a TikTok. I got a new phone. Couldn't get into my TikTok anyways. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then I heard a rumor you could.
You could, yeah.
I did. And that is Exhale Blessings, all one word. So my TikTok is generally just the podcast. But if you wanted to get to know me a little further, I share a lot of my journey on my Instagram, fit_yogi_mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you for watching. You may, in the future, hear the producer quips, because I believe Sonya here may allow me to have a microphone from behind the camera, because you're getting a lot of great guests, so I recommend people stay in tune with what's happening with this podcast, because it's turning into really something great and something that people can get a lot of spiritual wisdom, understand what a lot of people are working on, going through, and you find out you're not alone in doing it if you're going through those things yourself. So thanks for having me on to get more information from you about who you are and your history. I think it's important for people to know that outside of just the professional aspect. So thank you.
I appreciate you for coming on camera.
Of course.
Asking me all those questions.
Yes.
All right. Well, you guys have a blessed day, and thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Mwah! Thank you to the beautiful Fusion Cantina for allowing me to record these walking guided meditations in this beautiful space. Check them out at fusioncantina.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.